Log entry, Cycle 73. We were supposed to be the future, the vanguard of humanity, sailing the black on the colony ship Horizon. But the horizon is gone. Gravitational anomaly, a scream of tearing metal, and then silence. We woke up to a world bathed in an impossible emerald glow. Our escape pod, the Stardust, was a wreck, swallowed by a jungle that pulsed with life, a life unlike anything we'd ever imagined. We were 5. Captain Eva Rostova, our rock. Jox, the hot-headed pilot who could fly anything. Dr. Eris Thorne, the xenobotanist, his eyes wide with a terrifying wonder. Lena, our cum specialist, her face a mask of grief for the thousands we left behind. And me, Alara, the engineer. I was just supposed to fix things. Now I have to fix this planet. We named it Lumina. It's beautiful and it's a monster. The flora isn't just alive, it's aware. The very air thrums, with an energy we can't measure, a presence that feels hungry. It learns. At first it was just the environment. Vines that snapped like whips, spores that induced dizzying hallucinations. But then it got personal. It started digging into our minds, pulling out our deepest fears and turning them against us. For Jox, it was the crushing dark of deep space. He'd see the walls of the jungle close in, becoming the cold, airless void. He'd gasp for breath, clawing at his throat, convinced he was suffocating between stars. We'd have to pull him back, show him the glowing leaves, remind him he could breathe. For Captain Rostova, it was failure. She'd hear the phantom screams of the Horizon's crew over her cums, spectral voices accusing her of leading them to their doom. Her iron will began to crack, her commands faltering as she battled ghosts only she could hear. And for me, it was my brother Liam. He died a year before the mission launched. A stupid, meaningless accident. Now, here on Lumina, I see him. He stands at the edge of the glowing woods, just as I remember him, smiling that same sad smile. It's okay, Alara, his voice whispers in my mind. Let go. It's so peaceful here. You don't have to fight anymore. The planet was using him, using my love for him, to lure me into the deadly embrace of its beautiful glowing traps. Our mission shifted from survival to escape. Reese discovered ruins and ancient, non-human structures that seemed to hum with a different kind of energy. Inside, we found our first real clue. The gravity was wrong. Pockets of zero-G floated like invisible bubbles in the vast chambers. More than that, the planet's psychic influence was weaker here. It was a sanctuary. We mapped a path through a network of these ruins, a dangerous game of cosmic hopscotch. The chase was relentless. The jungle itself would reconfigure, creating dead ends, funneling us toward predator plants that mimicked the look of our own technology. We had a chase through a canyon of crystalline flora that shattered into a million razor-sharp shards at the slightest sound, forcing us to move in absolute silence while being hunted by something that could hear our heartbeats. Another time we had to use the zero-G pockets to escape. We leaped from a collapsing bridge, floating across a chasm hundreds of feet deep as sentient vines clawed at our boots from below. It was balletic and terrifying, a dance with death in a forgotten temple. It was during one of these desperate flights that the betrayal happened. Eris, he had become obsessed. He wasn't just studying the planet. He was communicating with it, letting it into his mind. You don't understand? He'd murmured one night, his eyes reflecting the jungle's light. It's not evil. It's just lonely. It wants to know us. It wants us to be part of its song. He sabotaged our power cells, stranding us, stood before us, arms outstretched as the glowing tendrils of the forest wrapped around him. It's beautiful, he whispered, a tear tracing a path down his cheek. To be part of forever? His body dissolved into light and energy, absorbed into the planetary consciousness. And then, his knowledge became its weapon. He knew our escape route. He knew our plans. The final push was a nightmare. The planet, now armed with Eris's intellect, anticipated our every move. It created illusions of our home, of our families. It promised us everything we'd lost. Lena broke. The constant grief amplified by the planet was too much. She just sat down and let the glowing moss cover her, her face finally at peace. Now it was just me and Jox. The captain sacrificed herself to buy us time, holding off a wave of reanimated flora with her last energy charge. We were cornered in the main chamber of the largest ruin. At its center was a massive crystalline spire that pulsed with energy, the heart of the ruins, the source of their dampening field. It's a transmitter, I realized. It's pushing something out. Jox was busy rigging explosives at the entrance, his face grim. If we can overload it, maybe we can send a signal, a real one, something that cuts through this psychic noise. But the planet was learning faster. The whispers grew stronger. I saw Liam again, not at the edge of the woods, but right in front of me, is holding out his hand. Come with me, Alara. It's time to rest. My resolve wavered. The exhaustion was a physical weight, the grief a constant ache. Why keep fighting? Then I looked at Jox. I saw the horizon. I saw the future we were meant to build, and I knew what I had to do. This wasn't about escaping anymore. It was about warning others. It was about making sure no one else ever fell into this beautiful, deadly trap. The spire needed a massive, focused energy surge to broadcast more than our remaining power cells could provide. But there was another power source, the planet itself. I had to become a conduit, a bridge between the planet's raw, psychic energy and the ancient alien tech. Jox, I said, my voice steady for the first time in days, get to the stardust. I've bypassed the safeties. It'll have one last burst of power, enough for a short sublight jump. Get to orbit. Get the signal. He stared at me, understanding dawning in his eyes. Lara, no. There's no other way. This thing feeds on life, on emotion. I'm going to give it a feast. I smiled, and for the first time, it wasn't sad. I walked to the spire, placing my hands on its cool, humming surface. I opened my mind, dropping all my barriers. I didn't push back against the grief for Liam. I embraced it. Let all the pain, the fear, the loss, the love, all of it pour out of me and into the spire. The energy was agonizing, and it was glorious. The chamber lit up with a blinding white light. I could feel the planet recoiling, confused by this offering. I wasn't fighting it. I was joining it, but on my own terms. I was turning its greatest weapon into our last hope. Through the light, I saw Jox running for the exit. My last thought wasn't of Liam or the horizon or the jungle. It was a simple, clear message, pushed into the spire with every last ounce of my being. A warning, a memorial, a final, defiant spark of humanity. It said, stay away. And it also said, we were here. The light consumed everything. And out in the silent darkness of space, a battered escape pod, a tiny speck of hope, fired its engines, racing toward the distant, uncaring stars. The song of Lumina had a new voice in its choir, but out in the black, a warning was now on its way. Thank you for watching our story unfold. If you were moved by this journey, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the far reaches of imagination. Your support helps us keep telling these stories. Until next time, stay curious.